Welcome. It's Legacy Mentor Wednesday, and we have the letters T. We're going to go over 5 words associated with T, what content means as a word important to living a legacy life, and to really take a look at the word communication. So let's get going. With the letter T, we have meaning that leans into balance and connection. Whenever I see that letter T, words like tenacity, trust, thought come to the surface. But when I see the T, I think about, okay, it's sort of sitting there and it's saying, okay, I'm balancing it to find a place where, oh, okay, this is where I'm balancing, or this is where I'm balancing it. So when you hold up a knife, there's a balance point on the knife. A stick, if you want to just hold it in your hand, there's a balance point. And so it's a reminder to me, go, oh, okay, am I balancing up the work that I'm doing? Am I balancing up my thoughts? Am I really finding a way in which to connect through this balancing perspective? Now, the letter T from a tree point of view is tamarack or larch. And we have what's called Larch Valley around here, which in the fall, the needles go yellow, then they fall off on this coniferous tree called the tamarack. And then there is the tulip tree, and I did not even know about this one, but it's down in southern Ontario, down along the lakes there. And I never thought of a tulip tree being in Canada, but I did a little search and there it is. And you can do the same if you'd like. When it comes to the 5 words associated with T, transition, transcend, transform, transact, and track. So let me go through them in reverse order. When I think of track, yes, there's the trains on the track, but also when I'm tracking something, whether it's an idea and I'm following a pathway and I'm attempting to find out the meaningful pattern recognition that's there. I think also of looking at the tracks that people walk or tracking an animal. So it's a movement of awareness to take a look at what's going on and what is it that you're witnessing? What is it you're observing as you collect it back to yourself? That's what track means. From a transact point of view, that's sort of a give and take. It's a way to take a look at the kind of relationships we have. Are they transactional? Is that if I give you something, you give me something? So it's a give and take that is happening. Transform is you're looking at shifting the form of something because of your interactions with it, the transform across the form. And with transcend, what we're doing is we're thinking about looking at something being sent somewhere, or you take a journey that's going somewhere, but you don't quite know what it looks like at the other end. You're transcend yourself to that point. So this track can be, well, I'm looking at a transaction or a transformation or a transcendence. That's one of the ways of looking at it. And therefore, transition, which is an overarching concept that has these practices associated with it, what kind of transition are you going through? Or what mix are you using? What balance connection of these terms are you using to be able to figure out what your journey is about, living your legacy life? When it comes to the single word, we have content, and there are 3 ways to look at content. Content from the sense of that meaningful information that you share with others, that you create. So, this video is a piece of content that is going on, and you are consuming this content that goes out on one of the social media, transmedia channels. But content is also content, which is that calm satisfaction, peaceful acceptance, the quiet joy that you might have of taking in something or being present with something. So, if that content that I'm sharing with you gives you a feeling of contentment, then that means there is a way in which I have created that content that is bringing that feeling forward for you. But also, content is what is the material that's held inside of something. So the content itself in this video, there may be sections of content. And one section may bring you contentment. Another section might get you going, oh, hang on, what's going on? And then you might get content again. So I think of the content that's inside the progi could be potato and bacon, for example. And what happens with a video is it has its content. And sometimes when you then dig into content and it's a single image, you might take a look at the coloring, the shaping, what words are being used, what shapes are there, what's the visual language. So if you take a look at these three ways of looking at content, you will have a way in which to be attending to, what is it that I'm doing with this content? How am I approaching it? How am I creating it for its use? The phrase that I wanted to share with you today was community. And there's three definitions here, and each one is a slight variation because community usually involves persons, people, groups. And so a group of people connected by a shared identity, interests, values, and relationships. That's one way of looking at it. A group of people living in the same physical area or region is another way. And a group organized around a shared goal, activity, or mission. So when I think about taking that content out and the kind of transition that I might be looking at from an audience point of view, I may be attempting to contact people who are outdoor recreation, outdoor pursuits professionals, but I may be only looking at those that are associated with mountain activities. And what they're interested in is looking at the safety aspects of persons interacting with the mountains through a wilderness outdoor recreation um, point of view. So, again, these three ways of looking at community might be helpful for you as you are looking at your legacy and writing, shaping, sharing your legacy stories, contributions, and projects. So, again, a way in which to take a look at it, a prompt for you to take into consideration. But here is one of the ways that I really remind myself about community. It's the level of commonness that unifies persons together. It's there in the word COMM. I think of common and then unity. So, from a community point of view, in terms of those different ways people interact with one another, there's community there. And that community is what's the level of commonness that unifies those persons together in that sense of community. Now, another day, I'll certainly share with you there are different kinds of community of practice, community of significare. These are other terms that I'll use in other videos, but you can take a look if you want to do a search and find out what are the different types of community that might be of value to you as you think about the shaping and sharing of your legacy story. What you're seeing now popping up, having gone through the presentation, are videos that I would encourage you to go to next. And you will find that what they'll do is they'll up your insights into living this legacy life. In particular, the playlist prompt, because I shoot these shorts anywhere from 50 seconds to a couple of minutes. And again, they're almost like daily prompts. And you can use those with your journal to shape and share your legacy stories, to live your story, to be in your legacy story living. Best wishes with it, and take care.